So I'm going to be showing you how I do my Flexi Rod. I already have one to show you what I actually mean by Flexi Rod set. And I'm going to be doing just the front half of my head today. I like the way my wash and go came out in the back. So what I do is whenever my wash and go is perfect in the back, I Flexi Rod just the front of my hair. And believe it or not, the curls end up matching and blending in just perfect. Another thing to note is my hair is typically washed whenever I do a Flexi Rod set. This time my hair has already been washed and dried, so I'm going to just make sure my hair is moist. I do not like to Flexi Rod my hair when it is dry. I feel like the results come out way better when it has a little bit of moisture. So once I moisturize my hair, I comb it out and I use a light gel. I'm not going to use too much. Too much product is just going to make it very heavy. I make sure my ends are more so with the product than the entire piece of hair. And once that is in really good, I just wrap it around the Flexi Rod, making sure that it's very tight and just bend. Now, sometimes whenever you bend it, it looks like it's not tight. This is the edge of my hair, so I don't like it too tight against my head. And I'm just going to keep sectioning off. I don't like sharp, crispy parts either. Whenever I am flexing around my hair, whenever I take the curl out, it's going to look more natural, and that's where you have that blending that I was talking about earlier, where the Flexi Rod and my natural curl pattern start to blend together. And as you see, I'm just going to continue to repeat the process. Now, while you're making sure that your ends are coated with your product, it's very important that you be consistent with the amount of product that you use. You don't want to use a little bit of product on one end and then on the next one you are heavily coating your hair. You want your curls to be very consistent throughout your whole entire head. Now, as I do my Flexi Rod set, I do notice that my ends sometimes are not even, and it does bother me. So what I do is I take my shears and I just measure it to see how far I actually want to go down with it. And then I just even it out and do a little light trim. Not a big deal. I just like to see that my ends are fresh whenever I'm doing a Flexi Rod set. The better your ends are, the better your curls will look once it's dry. Now, look at how this curl is on the Flexi Rod. If your curl is not sticking to the Flexi Rod, that means it's actually too big and you need to go down a size on the Flexi Rod. When I'm doing my Flexi Rod set, I do have multiple sizes and I just go through each of them to see which one would be a better fit for whatever piece I am on. And honestly, I could have gone one size down again. I just chose not to because I just know my hair and I know that my edge have a tighter curl pattern than the rest of my head, and that is totally fine. Now, once I start getting to the end of what I actually want to do with my hair, I like to pace myself and see, okay, how many more Flexi Rods will I need, and just gauge what kind of look I'm going for. So as you can see, the colors did change a little bit in the front because I decided to use different sizes. The ones that I had, the purple ones are the biggest, and I needed to go a little bit smaller because the ends were starting to stick up, and that meant that they were way too big for the small pieces that I have in the front. And I just go back in with the gel and just lightly graze over just the ends to make sure it is sticking towards the rod. And I'm just going to show you in slow motion how I can achieve a perfect Flexi Rod in the front. So now I finished all the pieces that I wanted to curl in the front of my head. And I'm just going to let out the back so you can see how the back is already curled the way I would like it. I do not like uniform curls. I really like it to be very natural looking. Sometimes Flexi Rod sets can look too perfect, and I do like my curls to be that frizzy, wild look, and that's what I'm going for. Now I've let it dry, and I'm going to go in with an oil. You can use whatever oil that you choose for your hair, and I just coat my fingers so that I can have some type of moisture on my ends as I take them out. I actually don't have a technique on how I just remove the rods. I just take them out, and like I said, I like a frizzy look, so I am not very uniform as how I take them out because throughout the day they're going to curl back up. I'm going to continue the process throughout. Now as I'm taking out my curls, I'm just gliding my hand through, making sure it does get that oil in, and I'm going to speed it up. Okay, so now I'm on my final Flexi Rod, and now you see that I'm going to try to blend in the front of my curls to the back of them. So I'm just showing you how I told you that my edges, they do curl up tighter than the rest of my hair. And all I'm doing is just taking my fingers and lightly fluffing it to blend in those different curl patterns. And I promise you, you have to just learn your hair, learn your curls, and that's it. And just remember, it's how you like your curls. If you like your curls very defined or you like the frizzy look like I do, just make sure you just take care of those ends. That's it. Thank you for watching.